Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us here at GEG Nagoya and GEG Ortega. We're going through the Nagoya StreamYard account right now, so that's why we don't have Ortega in there. But I'm joined today with my man Gary Garcia from Manila in the Philippines. We're going to talk to you today about Google Slides, but we first have just a few points of business to go through. But we want to have an introduction from Gary first. Gary, good to see you, man.
Hi, good evening. I'm Gary Garcia from the Philippines, a trainer, an innovator, and a GEG leader for Ortega's Google Philippines.
All right, and it's nice to see we got Darcy's in there, Kim's up there. Sup, Kim? Hello, Darcy. And as per usual, we'll probably have people filter in as we go. Feel free in the comment box to throw in any comments, any questions, and that kind of thing that you might have. And we're going to kind of keep track of the comments and questions as the thing goes on with another tool. All right, great to see you, Kathy. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to share my screen with you because we like to start with going through a little bit of GEG propaganda. So bear with us here. So this is the fourth installment of GEG Nagoya's online live via YouTube. So thanks for jumping in. This was planned actually before the coronavirus pandemic broke out. A few weeks ago, we threw in a few extra, shows in 1 week, but this actually happens monthly. So let's just remind you that today we're talking about telling great stories and collaborating with Google Slides. Now, we expect that people, for the most part, have probably used Google Slides. We're not going to teach you the things that you will see in Keynote or PowerPoint that you've probably used before, but we're going to show you some really cool stuff within Google Slides that you may not know about. So again, we're GEG Nagoya. You can get us at www.gegnagoya.com or just search for us in YouTube. This is a slightly outdated map, but there are Google educator groups all over the place. There's a new one in Gifu, close to where we are here in Nagoya. So reach out, get online, have a look for a Google educator group. Some are bilingual, such as GEG Osaka City, GEG Kyoto, GEG West Tokyo, and Nagoya. So first, what are Google educator groups? We are groups of volunteer teachers that do have a bit of a connection with Google, such as certification status and that. We can teach you how to do that eventually. We're online technology focused. We love to collaborate. We would love to have anybody here watching today. If you have something to present, please let us know and we'll make it happen. We do online and offline professional events, such as this YouTube Live. We're going to be launching a Google Certified Educator Study Group soon, probably sometime this spring. Ed conferences such as EdCamp Nagoya. We'd like to do a Try It On Monday, a lesson plan jam. In the past, we've had in Tokyo pub nights and park days where we can do Google mapping and 360 stuff. A lot of fun. And we're going to try to raise the bar and do some student events. So check us out online at gegnagoya.com and give us your suggestions and throw them in the comment box as well. We also have GEG Asia Pacific Connect. We'll tell you about an event that's coming up. That would be on April 17th, 18th, and 19th. Random times, and one of those 3 days you might only have to jump in, but we have 10 different languages that we're going to be offering sessions. So we'll have, for example, Mandarin, Cantonese, English, Tagalog. So we're going to get the word out soon when we have the schedule a little bit more finalized. But at the moment, we've got about 50 sessions in these 10 different languages that you can attend. So details are coming up. So check out GEG Asia Pacific Connect. We'll throw that link in the in the comment box soon. Lots of cool stuff on G Suite for education, and the focus is remote learning as we all kind of work through this pandemic. GEG Nagoya, we partner up with EdCamp Nagoya and English Teachers of Japan, the Aichi branch. So a little bit of shout out to those good people. Google certifications, get online, have a look and see how you can be a certified educator, trainer, innovator, meet a lot of real cool people and up your game in educational technology. And lastly, before we get started, episode 5 is going to be on my birthday, believe it or not, where we're going to show you how to use Google Forms for classroom activities and to collect data. So stay tuned for that as well, May 13th. And so we finally get into YouTube Live episode 4, even though I forgot to tell you to find us on Facebook and Twitter, GEG Nagoya. So what is it we are going to show you today? Now, when we get into this, I will slow down. I realize I'm speaking rapid fire at the moment here. But we do have a lot of things we want to show you. So we're going to talk about teaching and things for teaching and learning, because we are teachers watching this broadcast right now. And we want to give you some ideas you might want to try. We'll show you a couple of interaction tools. We're going to show you functionality tools. If you're already used to using slides but feel like you're not doing enough, you're going to find some really good stuff in that section, and formatting tools that you might not know. And if we have time, we will give you some suggestions for having creating a good slide presentation that's appealing for your audience. So I'm going to jump out of this right now, and I am going to continue sharing my screen, though. Gary, do we have any comments in the comment box?
Yes, we have Kim, we have IC English School. They're just saying hi, and they're so excited.
All right, great. It's good to see everybody here. So the first thing that we want to kind of start with is looking at some ideas for teaching and learning. And I'm going to go to this first slide here. We will update this later for people. But we want to show you some ideas that you may have thought of. But we have links in this slide deck that actually we will share with you right now. Let me throw this slide deck in the comment box if you would like to follow along. And the first thing we're going to talk about is choose your own adventure. Now, this is the first link in that slide. And this one, I can't remember exactly who made it. Ann Coates, I think. I met her in Korea last November, and she put this together. And she's got some really good ideas for how to create a choose your own adventure story. So there's her contact information. But basically, in Google Slides, you can have your kids telling their own stories by creating basically a choose your own adventure book. And the nice thing is that any piece of text that you have in here, right, you can actually link to another slide in this presentation. So see how I did that there? I just went and I highlighted the text, and I went up to, zoom in a bit for you there, the link button to insert a link. And when I do that, sorry, not so good with my fingers here today. So if I go to insert a link, I can choose slides in this presentation. And so you can see that you can go down to whatever slide you want them to go to. So maybe if you had a slide that has your, let's say here, a situation and then a choice. Here's the situation. You put, do you want to do this on the left, or do you want to do that on the right? And all you would do is link it to the slide that each choice would go to. Obviously, they would be different slides, just like in a choose your own adventure book. Now, the nice thing about choose your own adventure is that the students have to practice computational thinking. They have to map out their story. So that's a pretty high level of thinking. But remember, it doesn't matter whether you're in grade 3 or whether you're in grade 10. The level of complexity really only depends on your ability to use Google Slides. So I do encourage you to try to create a choose your own adventure. Now, this slide deck here walks you through it. The reason I put it in here is because Ann did a fabulous job on it, I thought. But I will point out that in slide number 13, I've put 5 other ones that will give you ideas for a choose your own adventure. Yeah.
Nate, I think you shared a different link.
I shared a link to the slide deck.
Yes.
We're in slide 13 there. But tell you what, here is that slide presentation that I'm looking at. Okay. Nice to see that people know each other in the conversation here.
Yeah. You shared not this one, I think.
I just shared this one in the comment box. I just shared this one in the comment box now.
Okay,
folks.
great.
If you want to have a look at it. Yep.
Okay.
But I will point out, if you go to slide 13 in the first slide presentation I shared with you, you're going to see down here in the bottom some other examples that will help you develop your own choose your own adventure. Again, you might just want to copy this slide deck, which is what Ann Coates had said we can do.
Sharing.
Yeah, sharing is caring, right? I mean, that's kind of what we do. So that is one example of how you could how you can use Google Slides in your classroom. And again, elementary, middle, high school, it doesn't really matter. And the nice thing again is that computational thinking. Now,
so it's
another
not
thing,
anymore it's not anymore sequential. They have to think of all the things that they will put in the slides. So it's not anymore the next slide, the next slide, and the next slide. So they can have a different story, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the story really it evolves in a way that you want it to, right?
Yes, yes.
So now I'm going to show you or share with you another one that slow us down here if we're going a little bit quickly here, folks. So I've just put in the comment box another idea that came from Micah Shippey, a guy from the United States, former social studies teacher, does mostly educational technology here. But what he's done has gone in and created like a school app kind of thing. And you notice he's done this with, with slides here, right? So I'm going to click present here. It's been a while since I looked at this one, actually. But you see here, he's got click to enter. And then he's got his school app. Oop. Okay, so some of the links went dead there, but oh no, that's the calendar. My mistake. So let's say there's class notes. So he's got all of these linked to different things in different slides. What a cool idea. And the reason why I think this is a cool idea is that if you can't make your own app, there are free app builders, but they're a little bit tricky. But if your kids access this through a tablet or their own phone, they've actually got an app with Google Slides. Like, how cool is that, right?
Nate, maybe we can mention how did she make this one in portrait, because not everyone knows that you can change the layout, the setup of Google Slides.
That is a great suggestion. So do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to walk everyone through it here?
It's up to you.
Tell you what, I'll walk them through it, but you do the talking. Let them listen to someone else for a moment.
So first, you need to click on File, and then you click on Page Setup. So normally, we cannot really change the size, or we have the predefined size. But with the Page Setup, you can select Custom. Okay, and in Custom, you can change the size, the width and the height in inches or in pixel. So it's easier if it's in inches. Usually, a short bond paper is has a width of 8 inches and a height of 11 inches. So after you change the width and the height, just click Apply, and it will change the layout of the entire slide presentation. So it's not the usual landscape or standard size, but with the page setup in Google Slide, you can make your own size. So you can have square or a portrait mode, and you can also save this as PDF. Just like what Nate mentioned, you can have it in open in a mobile phone, and it looks like an app, right?
And let's add that if you save it as a PDF, then the links are all active, right?
Yes.
And how you do that would be to go to File, and then you click Download, and then you simply choose PDF.
Yes. Great.
In fact, since we're on this right here, anything that you make in Google Slides, okay, you know, for the most part, you can download them in different formats, JPEG, PNG. Now, the reason why I like PNG, now I have a YouTube channel, and all my thumbnails, I actually make them in Google Slides, simply because when you download it as an image file, the dimensions that you use to upload they fit exactly into YouTube. So I don't have to go to Canva or other online editors. I just do it in Slides nice and easily. I download it as a PNG, and it works perfectly. So
there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like if you're familiar, if our viewers is familiar with Publisher, it's like Publisher if they're used to using Publisher.
If you've used Microsoft Publisher, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So let's go with just a couple more suggestions here. I'm not going to follow these in complete order, but one way that I like to use Google Slides in my classroom, we'll get you to share yours in a moment, Gary.
No worries.
When the students come in, what I like to do is kind of like, for example, maybe this isn't the best example, but let's say I have just a very simple statement at the front. Like, how kids kind of filter into the classroom, 2 minutes late or maybe 2 minutes early. I like to have a statement projected on my whiteboard, and it just, obviously connected to something that we're doing. So it might say, for example, democracy or dictatorship, which is friendlier to, democracy or dictatorship, which one is more efficient when making decisions? And then the kids that come in early, they can kind of sit there and they can think about it, maybe talk about it if they're really keen. And then when everyone's in the class and I've taken attendance, then I can kind of say, okay, let's talk about this. Which is faster, democracy or dictatorship? And why is that? And you go into some pretty good conversations. Another thing that I do at the beginning of every class, I project what we're going to do. I try to have things written on the whiteboard, but what I like to do is also have it on a slide so that when students, when they come into the class, they've done the provocation, and then I can go to one slide and everybody's attention is focused right in the middle there, not my sloppy handwriting on the left or the right side of the whiteboard. And then I can say, today we're going to do this, we're going to do this. These are our learning goals, and this is what you should be able to do by the end of today's class. Yeah. So in terms of assignments and tasks and assessments, we've given you Choose Your Own Adventure. We've shown you like that app. We'll give a couple more, but I want to get give Gary a chance to throw something in there.
Okay. Nate, can you just do the manipulations since your screen is already shared?
Sure, yeah.
Make use of the same slide. So
Okay.
to engage more the students, what we can do is turn on one of the best feature of Google Slide. Usually we click on present, right? But if you notice on the present button on the upper right of your screen, on the left side of the share button, there is a drop down. When you click that, you can make use of the presenter view. When you use the presenter view, because it's different when you just click the present button. On the right side of the present button, you have the presenter view. If you make use of that, you have a different window. Though the window will serve as your guide what to say about this particular slide. But it's not all that. There's another tab in the presenter view wherein we have the audience tools. If you click that one, and if you want to engage student to ask question or give their answer to a particular slide, you can simply click the Start New. So when you click that one, what they will see is your slide, but the difference is that there is a URL wherein they can visit and they can comment or give their question or suggestion or whatever, and then you can see it from your end and you can highlight their question. So maybe we can ask our viewers to visit the link provided on top of the screen, and so we can demonstrate how it works. So can you please create a new tab and then type slides.app.goo.gl/1.
I just put this in the comment box.
Yes, please copy and paste and then create a new tab so you know what we're talking about here. You will see how it looks like on the end of the student and on the part of the teacher. So go ahead and visit the link, and on the part of the teacher, we have the other window, the presenter view, wherein we turn it on. You can see if there are questions. So while you're talking, so you're the only one who can see the other window.
Just waiting for this to load here.
Okay. So no
Okay,
questions.
so we have no questions yet. Shall we ask one?
Yes, please. So for the viewers, can you please ask some questions so we can show you how it works? Oh, there you go. Thank you. So let's say I'm still talking and presenting. So what you can see as viewers on my slide is the that particular slide. But if I want to highlight the question or the comment, all I need to do is just click the show button in the comments area. Nate, can you go to the other window, please?
Yeah.
So you can
And
simply that one is for the student. The other one, the floating
oh,
window.
yeah, I lost my floating thing here. Hold on.
Command tab. You go command tab or four fingers
Yeah.
up.
Sorry, let me get back into there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what we can do, so go back to the audience tool and then continue,
Continue.
since we're
Yeah.
going to continue with that one. So if there are new comments, what we can do is, go ahead, continue. What we can do is present, we click the button present, there you go. And what will happen to my slide is, go ahead, there you go. So it will be presented as part of my slide. So we can affirm the student who make a comment, or if you can also show the question they want to ask, so everybody can see. Okay. So let's say we have another question coming from the audience. You can just simply click that particular question, so everyone can see the question. So that's how you engage more the students. Of course, they want to see their faces on the slide. So for sure, they will type some question. So just make sure that they are sensible question. Okay. So
Yep.
there you go.
So if
That's
you can
one way.
answer Darcy's question here, so you can have the presentation view and the audience view up at the same time without the audience seeing, like
Yes.
seeing this is what you're talking about, right?
Yes. So all you need to do is give another, if you're using a map, you can go to settings and then display, and then remove the mirror display if you're using a map. Under the uh, can you can you
Yeah,
show
just
that
taking a
in
moment
the
to load here. So under the displays,
in display, if you have a projector, because right now we're not using a projector, but the display, if you click that display, there's another option wherein you have mirroring, and then you have your slide. While on the other screen, you can have your pop-up window wherein you can see all your notes.
right?
Right
So if
now
you're
we
in a
can't
Mac,
really Right now we can't really demonstrate that because we're not using a projector. That is why it's not showing there. But
but
it is possible.
yeah, and
With
it's this
Windows, it's
area.
also possible.
Yeah, and it's this area that you would do that. And of course, that's for a Mac. It depends on what device you're using, but you want to find your mirroring, right?
Yes. So you put your slide in one window and your presenter view in the other window. So you can see the slide and your notes for that particular slide. So it is possible.
And you
Thank
know
you,
what?
Darcy, for I hope I answered your question correctly. But it is possible, yes.
If and if you have questions, you can catch Gary, on Facebook through me. So,
Yes.
um, so let me just get out of this here. So the nice thing about this too is that students that are a bit shy can ask those anonymous questions,
Yeah.
which is really, really cool. Let me just close a couple of my tabs here. It'll help speed a few things up, I hope.
That one is basically, if you have the same question, you can just like the question. So it will be placed on top of the screen of the audience view for the teachers.
Okay, and so now if you've got an idea yourself, right, we want you to be involved in this a little bit. How do you use slides in your class? We're going to give you a couple of other ideas here in just a moment, but go ahead in the comment box, and if you can please type in something that you do with Google Slides. Now, we know that we do presentations, but what kind of presentations do you do that might actually be part of a learning activity instead of just presenting information? Go ahead and type those in the comment box. Now, one other way that I've seen slides being used is a photo story. So you get kids to go out, they take photos on their phones, And this could be any kid that's got a phone that, might be in grade, 2, 3, 4. As long as they know how to use the basics of slides and a smartphone, well, they can access the smartphone from the they can access the slide deck if they're logged into their account from the Google Slides app on their phone or their tablet. Send them around the neighborhood and say, we want you to take photos of things that are cultural in your neighborhood. So maybe, we're in Japan, let's keep it simple. Maybe a ramen shop or a shrine or a temple, or maybe even the outside of a Japanese school, because they do look a little bit differently from schools in the West, And then they can put their slides into a slide deck, and then they can tell their story either through a presentation or they can record it, right?
Yes. So
go ahead.
I can answer your question. Another way of using slide is I insert videos, and if it's a long video and I don't need to watch the entire video in class, I can set the time start, the where to start playing the video and where it ends. So you don't have to, if you have a video from YouTube or if you have a video from YouTube, you don't have to watch the entire video clip. Maybe you only need 15 seconds of the video clip. So you can set it where to start playing the video.
So let's show people how to do that, right? So
yes,
here's my slide. I'm going to zoom in, and you go up to insert here. So
and
you go
then
to video.
And then you look for the video.
Or, well, there's different things you could do. First, if you know the URL of the video, just copy it from your browser, put it there. If you already have the video uploaded to Google, let's go with one of these GEG Nagoya videos.
Yes, go ahead.
So select that.
And there you go. So while it is selected, you can identify which part of the video to start by changing the time on the right panel, the right sidebar, and the end time. So it doesn't have to play at the beginning. If it's a 10-minute video and you only need the 30 seconds or 1 minute of it, just make sure to set the time start and time end.
And note the options here that you have. You can mute the audio if you only want to show the video. For example, you show a video and you say, hey, look at this video. There's no audio. What do you think they might be saying, right?
Yes. And then then you turn on the audio, right?
Yeah, and then you go back and turn on the audio and you say, okay, let's find out what they really were saying. And that's kind of a fun activity because, students are humorous, but if, if they're serious, they can see that they're way at a left field, and it shows how when we look at something but don't know what's being said, we have the wrong perception, right?
And we can see how their mind works, right? We can see how their mood are, if they are sad or happy. So depending on their interpretation, they will have different interpretation. Depending on their mood, they will have a different interpretation. So that's one way of seeing how they are.
Yeah, and you notice here I'm looking at the different ways you can format things, right? Yes. You have drop shadows of different colors and things like that. If you're really into making a very, very, beautiful slide deck for your students. But let's see what this looks like now. So I'm going to close. I've got my time, like Gary suggested, right here. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to present the slide. Now, I did not put it on autoplay. I highly discourage that. Okay, so we'll click play and see how it started from 15 seconds.
Yes. There you go. Highlighting part of the video. So you don't have to scrub it. You don't have to set it.
Exactly. And you don't make that mistake of standing in class going, oh, where the heck do I have to start from, or that kind of thing, right?
So you don't have to rush and look for it.
Yep.
We have one suggestion from the comments area. I use links to allow me to give the students some choice. So there you go. Nice one.
I do like it. Let's see. Darcy says it's awesome. He likes it. It'll definitely work for history documentaries. Yeah, totally. We'll tell you what. Let me share with you, Darcy, my one thing that I do want to show you is screencasting. I've got some students that are going to be preparing screencasting for a public service announcement coming up within the next month or so. Great for remote learning because they can do all this in the cloud, right? I'm not going to teach you how to use the extensions because I'm creating tutorial videos already on how to do it. But you can have your students very easily use Google Slides to record their presentation, right? So maybe I'll show you Screencastify as I do this. So I have the Chrome extension Screencastify right here.
I love that extension.
It's a great one. By tomorrow, I'll have a tutorial online for it. So just wait for a moment for it to load here. Okay, so I can choose my webcam view only, just my desktop, which is what they would probably do, or your browser tab view. One of those is what your students would do. You notice my microphone is external right now because I'm using my earbuds. There are other options. You can have a 3-second countdown. You've got drawing tools. So tell you what, I've already installed the Chrome extension. You have to go to the Chrome Web Store and then type Screencastify to do it. I'm going to click record. I've got my little talking head here. If I don't want it, I just click out, choose my my window here, and I click share. I'm going to say stop or hide that stop sharing thing. And when I see this little icon up here, I know that it is recording. So there was my countdown. So I click present. I've got my toolbar down here, but I can close that. What I always tell students is, wait a moment before you want to share, because you can trim this. So you can change it later. And so now I begin my presentation. This is what I'm talking about, blah, blah, blah. Whether maybe it's my photo story. Remember, go back to that photo in the neighborhood of cultural things. And then, they could use slide transitions. We'll show you that in a moment. And go through their story. And then they can pause. And then exit. And then what they have to do is actually go back to the icon in their toolbar. You can see here up in the tabs, sorry. So I click on it so that it stops. Okay, I'm going to have to go down here to do it. There's a few different options you can use. For some reason, that's still recording.
We can use the one at the bottom and then click stop.
I'll just wait for that. So see here, it's still recording, right? And if I know I made a mistake, I can just trash it. What I like about Screencastify is I can pause it, and then I can start recording again, which is quite nice. But here I'm just going to stop it. We're not going to teach you all about Screencastify, but I do want to make that link between Screencastify and your tutorial videos. The one thing I guess I will add is that you can trim. This is loading at the moment, but you can trim the beginning and the end of the video. So if I was to pause that right there, let's say I looked at it and I know, oh, okay, that's exactly where I want to be. So I chop that, and then I come to the end here. If I don't want that bit, then I save my trim, and then it edits it right there in Screencastify. And since we're on that, so I guess the point is that the kids can tell their story using Google Slides, and then they can edit within Screencastify, which is in the cloud and online, so they don't need to worry about having a great editor from, Apple or Microsoft or whatever. So let me shamelessly self-promote here. My YouTube channel I'm working on, I'm creating screencasting tutorials. I'm trying to keep them short, under 5 minutes there, just over 7 for this one. I'll throw this in the comment box, and it teaches you how to use, for example, QuickTime if you're on Mac. I like to record in Mac, and then I throw it into iMovie, and then do advanced editing there, as well as Camtasia and other things. Loom is another one, very much like Screencastify, as well as Screencast-O-Matic. So I'm going to throw that in there. You can have a look at those tutorial videos. And is that similar to Loom? Yes, it is, actually. I think I just said that. So nice one. So we're going to go back in here. So we're making all right time here. So let's look at a few of the other features that that you have within Google Slides that you may not know about. So Gary, did you want to take it from here, and then I'll just throw a few more things in?
I have mentioned my favorite. My favorite one is the presenter view, because you can engage student more. You can ask them to participate by asking question or making comments, and then you can highlight it because not everyone knows about it. but it's a great way to engage students because they want to see their faces. They want to be acknowledged, especially those who are not so confident in raising their hands. So if you have this tool, if you make use of that Q&A feature in the presenter view of Google Slide, you will be able to get their participation using the Q&A.
Yep.
And that one, the inserting of video and then showing the specific time. And what I love about Google Slide is you can change the size. Not everyone knows that. So you can create a PDF file. You have the so it's like the HyperDocs, but this one is in Google Slide and it's in PDF. So you have a different format. So you can do a lot of things. It's endless. It's the limitation is our creativity as educators.
There are, yep. I'm going to go back. Darcy has a question. Is there a time limit? On Screencastify, there is a 5-minute time limit, but if you do it through your school account for the next, I think it's 3 months or 6 months, Screencastify is free. And that means it's, well, it's free anyway, and you have 5 minutes to record without a watermark. But then you get, because of COVID, they've offered the premium access, right? So with Screencastify, you get all this for free. And yeah, you can record as long as you want. With Loom, I've not noticed a time limit. Let's see. With QuickTime, you're recording from your computer, so there is no time limit. And since we're here in Screencastify, let me show just a couple of other things. You can embed it. You can publish it to the web, share it with the classroom. Just copy the link right there. And then they can email it to you, your students, if they recorded something. You can also click download here, and then you can just export it as an MP4. Keep in mind, though, that's not an MOV file, so some editors don't accept that. Were you going to say something there, Gary?
No, I got my internet is so bad. I was I got
It's got a virus. Okay, so we've gone through those. I want to show a couple of other things. If you notice up here, it says add-ons, right? Add-ons create what's called functionality, all right? So there are a number of add-ons that you can get. One that we put in here is called Pear Deck, and Pear Deck is another tool where you can have students interacting with you, where you can ask questions, kind of like that Q&A. So I've gone in and put something here. You're going to get a link to this in just a moment. So what I want to do is, if you were to create an interactive slide, you would go to add-ons, then you would choose Open Pear Deck add-on, which I've done here. And then in this part right here, you can ask them different kinds of questions. I don't have the free version, or I've got the free version right now, so I don't have everything. Pear Deck is also free, though, right now for COVID schools, all right? So what you can do is ask a question, insert a website or whatever. I put a choice one in here. So I'm going to click and start the lesson. Student-paced activity. So if you have several slides where there are questions, you can choose that, or you could be the instructor-paced activity. No, it's forcing me to sign in here. All right, let me GEG Nagoya. Okay, you do have to get Pear Deck to, allow them to use your or access your files and all that to your account. That's why you should use your school account for this if you do. And so now what we have is a slide that's going to have some interactivity to it. As we wait for my computer to load, I do have decent Wi-Fi, just a lot of tabs open. Okay, we're going to give this a go one more time. And if it doesn't work, then we're not going to keep you waiting. Whoa, I don't want that. Let's
okay, while you're troubleshooting that one, another feature that I like is when you click let's say you want to have a kiosk wherein a slide will repeat playing itself. So you can do that by clicking File, and then you go to Publish to the Web, and then
why don't you share your screen right now, Gary? Let me deal with this.
Okay, go ahead. I'll share my screen. Okay, my entire screen. Okay.
And
And there you go.
there you go.
So let's say we have, can you see my screen now? No, we can see your screen, Nate.
You can see my screen. What? That's not
I can
right.
see it.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, your thing didn't pop up here. Let me
Okay. I think it is shift. Okay. Can you see the screen now? I'm using the slide that you
Yep,
shared earlier. Okay.
we got
So
you.
what we can do to make this loop? Okay. What we can do is we go to File, and then we go to Publish onto the web, and then we have this one. What we can do is we can change the time. So each slide will be presented to 2 seconds. By default, it's 3. And then click on the start slideshow as soon as the player loads. And then you can restart the slideshow after the last slide. So if you click this and then you click publish, this link will be the link that will be provided to you will be the one that you're going to use. So it will keep on playing the slides. There you go. So this link is the one that you're going to put on your browser, in your browser. So make sure to publish it and make sure to check the start slideshow as soon as the player loads, and restart the slideshow after the last slide. So it continuously playing or showing the slide. There you go.
Great. So I'm still waiting for my thing to format here, or not to format, but anyway, we'll see. I'm gonna just go right back into some of the other things we're gonna do as we wait for that. Okay. And you should be able to see my screen now.
Yes,
Yep.
we can see
All
your.
right. So let's go into a couple of other things. I'm going to come back down to this screen right here. I want to show you a few other things that you can insert, okay? So for example, Google has a new feature now. This is only a few months old. The insert feature, it's got lots and lots of stuff, right? So you click insert. One thing, if I know Darcy's a history, social studies teacher, and he says, by the way, he's used Pear Deck and it looks great, or from what he's seen. You can insert charts and things like that. And if you have a chart already made in a Google Sheet, right, you want to show some kind of data to your students, you can actually choose what it is if you've got it made up, and then you can put that right in there. So you don't have to mess around with a new table, making a new pie graph and all that. You've already got it made, which is a nice feature, especially if you're a teacher that uses data. One of the other things, all right, so back to insert. Audio is another one. Sometimes you have to have pre-recorded audio, and you have to have it uploaded to your Google Drive. But this is a nice feature, and it's relatively new. So you can search for whatever it is you might have in your Drive, or something that somebody shared with you, or a recent one that you've used. So I'm going to stick with Drive and this song. And you'll notice that it automatically goes right into the middle. So they're creating the audio right there. And then I have my different formatting options kind of thing. And if I want, I can loop the audio. I always keep it on clicking, not the automatic thing. It can be turned down if you think the volume's just a little bit too loud. So again, what I like about slides more than Keynote and PowerPoint is that it's in the cloud. It's simple. There's not too much stuff to confuse you. So
we have a question, Nate.
okay, tell you what, let me just finish this Let me just finish this one right here. So now we're looking at the slide, and let's say I'm talking about, let's say I'm a music teacher. I know Kathy Campa in here teaches little kids music. She might have a really great cartoony picture here that kids would really love. And then right here, she might have a little video, or maybe it is a video, but she wants to put some audio over it. And it's just seamless. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to click in and click out and click in and click out and that kind of thing. So we are looking at the question here. Is it can music videos be played from YouTube? Is that the one you're saying, Gary?
No. We have a question from Kathleen. She asked, can you link music to those slides? Can it play from one slide to the next?
Yes, you can put it in for the whole slideshow.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, so that's a nice thing too. So you could have separate slides or the whole slide deck, and then you could have it link automatically. So yeah, you totally can. And remember too, if you had a YouTube video in here, you could make it the whole size of the slide. It'd be skewed a little bit, but then you'd probably just show, if you're showing a whole video, you're just going to put the YouTube video up and maximize it. But anyway, there's a little bit more that you can do. So where do you place the music? All right, so let me just go through that again one more time quickly. You go to Insert, you choose Audio. You choose your audio file that you want from wherever it is, and the icon's going to pop up as it creates the audio. I'm going to just change the size of that a little bit. Give me a really big audio button there. Woohoo. And it can be automatic. I can loop it if I want, or stop on the slide change. So I'm just going to loop it. And so once the slide loads, right, so you saw that I had the audio file in there. I went to a few other slides. I didn't have to do anything else. Easy peasy. So, see if we have any other questions. Can you change a slide? The music will keep on playing. Yep, and that's what we just showed you. So there was one more thing I thought insert here that I want to show you. Nope. So we're going to show you some things about images now as well. Let's just see if that Pear Deck's ready. Oh, the Pear Deck's ready. Okay, good. Tell you what, folks, we're going to go to something else in a moment. Let's try this thing. You see here that no students are connected right now. So we're just waiting for students. So what I would like you to do is type in joinpd.com. In fact, let me put that in there, and then it's JAGD. Let's see if I can copy the whole thing here. Let's go back into YouTube, into the comments. So go to that joinpd.com and then type in that code. JAJD, and that'll come up in the comments in just a moment. If I wanted to, I can give students a link. I've just copied that. Maybe that would have been easier, folks. I'll just throw the link in there too. And this is what the kids want to see. So I'm still waiting for students. So okay, so one student's on, two students are on. See if anybody else gets on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, start class. So this is on interactivity. And so please give a response. You notice that we can't see the responses yet. I'm showing this to the students. I could maximize the screen if I wanted, but I'm not going to do that right now. One more person. Let's get a response in there. We got 2 out of 3 students. Only 2 of you. Come on, hurry up, people. That's what I always do when I have students using this kind of thing.
I have.
Okay, good. There we go. So, hey, everyone's, yeah, great and amazing. You can tell my typing skills are pretty weak. So the nice thing is you could have that question go up. Students answer anonymously. They've got things too that are true, false. So they have polls, for example, agree, disagree. So there's different kinds of questions you can use, and then you can project it, and that can lead to a conversation, right? Darcy says he didn't hear the music. I wonder if your audio is obviously on, so I'm not sure why that is. So where did that come from? I'm just going to leave this. Oh, by the way, you can lock their screens in there too, so they don't keep moving ahead and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to leave that. Now, what I would like to show you is one more add-on. So we're going to take that out. And again, notice we're going to this thing right here. Add-ons, they add on to the functionality, and the one that I'm going to show you is Nearpod. Now I'm not going to open it because, well, yeah, I will actually show you what it's like. Nearpod has lots of videos online, tutorials, and things like that for students with just a huge range of different topics, and so it adds functionality to your slide presentation. Again, students, they get a link where they go to. So I'm going to click here, go to Nearpod. you when you're in there, what it would do is give you like an option of a lesson to learn. And then it takes you to this, right? And then this is where you could start to create a lesson, or you can go to the live lesson. So I mouse over the one that I've just kind of created. I click live lesson. And students would actually be on their own computers looking at this as well, much like that Pear Deck. You would send them this code. So I'm going to copy the link for you. I'm going to throw it in. Now, why is that on Pear Deck? Give me a minute here. Here you go. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to throw it in. And this one's called Nearpod. This would be, for the most part, for older learners. I'm going to close that. And then the students would go in. And so they've got a slide deck that's connected to Nearpod that they can go through. I'm going to click all devices to see the video. So here's my second video. And so now I'd have students, to do something with this. So up in the top here, it says add activity, right? So I click on that. And I might want to add a slide or a question, true, false kind of thing. Is this, let's see, samurai, true or false? So I'm going to click share. You can add images and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. I'm going to click false here. I normally would have had this, of course, made up.
Yeah.
Okay. Notice we've got names in here. Anyway, just wanted to show you that that's there. Probably be doing that with middle to secondary students. And again, it is in your add-ons, okay? And one other add-on that we will show you is called Slide Randomizer. So what this does is mixes up your slides. And I think this is a good one for review. So let's say you have a bunch of terminology, or maybe, let's say, again, we've got ESL teachers here and EFL teachers. So maybe it would be random words that you want students to use in a sentence. So then each slide would have just one word, and your activity is just to randomly send it around. So they probably would have studied, done some homework, reviewed, and then that can be your activity to start the class or something. And so it just randomizes your slides. In fact, let's just copy, put in a couple of other slides in here, just to show you kind of what we're talking about. Go in here and just add one more text in this one. Okay, so I go to my slide randomizer. Let's say these could be pictures of people doing different kinds of dances for younger kids as well, right? So now let me just see that the slide randomizer is on. Good. So now I choose automatically randomize presentation when it's opened, right? So it skips the first slide and then you're ready to go. So it's randomized the presentation. Okay, is it ready?
There you go.
And you notice it's not my first slide. That was definitely not the second slide. It was the fourth one. That's the second slide.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's randomized my slides. So that's a nice one that you can use for review activity or that kind of thing.
And according to Kathleen, even little ones could do that with English. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's see. Now we're going to go back into a few other things that you may or may not know. Because we're hitting time, we're winding down. We usually go for an hour. We'll probably continue on with this for a little bit. Let me close a couple of tabs just to speed up the just to speed things up here. Get rid of that, the interactivity. So something that I really like a lot is the research tool. So down here, you've got this little button called Explore, or you could go up here to Tools, and you could choose Explore as well. Oh, by the way, you can type your voice as well.
If you're tired of typing, right?
Yeah, I think most people got to know that. So I've clicked on Explore, and so maybe I want to search the web, and let's stick with that samurai. And so then I've got some different web sources, right? History.com or Wikipedia always comes up because they're, they got to deal with Google. Or I could go and find something I know is in Google Drive. Let's say I want to put in an image. Oh, look at that. That's great. So I'm going to choose, let's say, yeah, I'll go with this one right here because it has a few people. Whoops, let me just click insert. And so now I have my image. But let's say I don't want everybody in here. If I double tap on this, then I can pull that across, and then I just get the people that I want, right? I can go back and edit this later, by the way. In the slide, people see this, but this actually stays there. It exists later. So I've hit my toolbar, my enter bar. And so now I've got just this. It looks like a nice little sidebar when I'm creating an image. Of course, it might be that you have an image that has too much dead space and you just want to crop it a little bit. Now, so just to point out, with the Explore feature, which you find down, let me close that, the Explore feature that you find down here, or you find up in your tools, right? But we're not done yet. Let's have a look at what we can do with our images. So if I click here, right, maybe I want to format it a little bit. So I can click this, and I can change the position a little bit. I'm not going to put that in the center right now. Maybe I want to put a shadow on it. Maybe I want to put a reflection in there. Let's say the image goes up to here. Then I could have a reflection. You can see that. I'm going to undo that right now. If I want to recolor it, this is what I like, actually, is that you can give it like a different look or a different feel, right? So there's the negative thing. If I want to change, sorry, not the position, but the rotation, right? Maybe it's, not just an image. It could be a shape or something like that. And I want to change the angle of it, right? Just to make that slide look a little bit slicker, a little bit, cooler, right?
Yeah.
So that when I present, I've got it right there, right? You got a couple of questions coming up. Yeah, the randomizer. Yeah, you're welcome. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Right? So let's take the image out of there. Now, something that I kind of like to do, I hesitate to have people use slide transitions and animations because often they're just kind of rinky-dink and not professional. But if you're doing a screencast, teaching your kids something and recording it from your slide deck, you might want to think about having one. So the one thing you got to think about and be careful of is that if you want to insert animation, so again, we go to insert, right? And you do this by clicking insert, and you go down to, whoops, animations, sorry. I'm going to go with animations are for text. So I highlight my text. I go down to animation, and I'm going to get a pop-up here. And it tells me what kind of slide transition, what kind of animation do I want. So I want it to fly in from the top or bottom or whatever. Let's go with the bottom. Let's say I want to have a slide transition. Let's say I'm going to do the gallery, or let's go with the cube. And then I apply that to all of my slides. I'm not going to do that right now, but much like Keynote and PowerPoint, you can do that. Remember, too, you can highlight one line of text and then add the transition or highlight another one. So now if I present, I should have probably done that with another one, but
It's okay.
But you get the idea. You get the idea.
I have a favorite thing to do with images.
What's your favorite thing to do with images? Why don't you show us?
Go ahead. Insert the same photo. Go ahead. Insert the photo that you inserted earlier.
Insert. Whoa, insert. Here's another thing too. I can choose image, and if I want, I can search the web.
Any photo. Go ahead. Any photo. So earlier you cropped the photo, right? It's in a rectangular shape. Let's say you want to make it more creative. Let's say you're thinking about that photo. So basically, we have the call out, right? So you can you select the photo now, select the photo, and then click the drop down arrow of the call out, of the crop button. The crop button. So while it is selected, you click
right up here. Yep. This is just to zoom in here, folks. This is what Gary's talking about right here.
Drop down arrow, and then you go to call outs, and then you select the last one, the bottom right. Go ahead, click that one, and ta-da!
Oh, I didn't realize that. Hey, cool.
Very cool, right? So I love that one because it's not the regular shape cropping of photo, but basically you're thinking about that person. So you don't have to put text in a call out. You can also put photos, right?
That is cool, actually. I have not done that before. Well played, Mr. Garcia.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing too, your transitions here, you can use themes. You can choose different layouts up here. You can change your backgrounds. I think people generally know those. I kind of recommend not using themes because what I find is that when you use themes, they have the alignment and all that figured out, and you always come to that slide that just doesn't seem to work for me, you know? So I tend to start from scratch and do my own.
Blank one.
Now, here's something that frequently happens. If I add a new slide, right? So I'm just going to go with the title and the body, right? So I put my title here, and I got my body here. Notice that it skips the space. The spacing's already decided for you. That really drives me nuts, to be honest with you. So what I always do is go up here, okay, where I've got line spacing, and I put it down to single. And unfortunately, I have to tap again and then scroll down to remove space. You can do custom spacing, but I find this is just easier. Whoops, gotta go back to the slide there. My pinching of my fingers is not very good. There we go. So now what I've done is when I go to my next line, I can type and everything's fine. That's something that's really, really driven me nuts, right? So we're kind of getting into things that we feel that people probably know. We do want to point out one last a couple things. You can look at, they've got a dictionary. We recommend you having a look for that, look through that. You've got your typical spelling editors and things like that. You can create a personal dictionary, and that's tied to your Google Docs and Sheets and things like that. Let's see. You can arrange elements on your slide. That's one that you would know. Yeah, we're getting into things that people probably know, so we're going to kind of leave that at that. The last thing that we are going to do, though, very, very briefly, is emphasize your slide. Sorry, this was for something else, but your slides. Keep in mind why you're using, your slide presentation. Are you like us right now? We're bouncing in and out, so we're not being too formal with our slides. It's online and casual. But for a formal presentation that your students are doing, you encourage them to think about things like, do your research first and focus on your slide deck last. Get all your pictures and images and resources. Tell them to be consistent, the same fonts, the same font sizes, the same background colors and things like that. Less text. Now, these slide decks have a lot of text because they're kind of in work in progress at the moment. And they're actually used to teach, not to present. So more images, and use the images and simple words to remind yourself of what you're going to talk about, very much like a TED Talk. Use the pictures to tell your story, and tell them to source where they got their images, right? Definitely want copyright-free stuff. Charts and graphs are good. Slide transitions, kind of avoid, sorry, I'm saying transitions, but transition slides is what I meant. But since we're into transitions, let's just go down to that one here. Where did transitions go?
There you go.
Probably be careful of using too many transitions, right? But transition slides like this are a nice way to frame the story or frame the conversation, right? So this is a transition slide. It kind of focuses people on the smaller big ideas that you have within your presentation. So encourage them to use those. Again, things like bolded text and all caps and things like that. Don't use autoplay. Avoid it like the plague. Using pointers. You do have pointers with Google Slides. When you get your toolbar down here, you're going to see you've got the pointer feature where you can kind of, hey, and look at this and look at that. You've got captions as well. So if you want to use captions, I'm going to allow my microphone there. And then you see at the bottom, my you've got the captions. Everything I'm saying is being typed. Great for second language learners. Great for students that are, have an audio impairment or something like that. We should have showed you that a little bit earlier, actually.
Yeah.
But that's, for a live presentation. So I'm here showing you my slides, and the mic is picking up what I'm saying. So, that's another thing you might want to think about for your classes. And with this, we're going to take these slides out. So what I'm going to do is just copy these resources and throw them in the chat. In fact, those resources are all linked, so that's actually not going to work for you. Go ahead. We'll keep these in here for a bit. This is slide 31. If you want to get some tips on resources that make your talks or your presentations a little bit better.
Nate, we have a question from Darcy. Does it have a Canadian dictionary?
Not that I know of. No, it's American, so we don't have the Commonwealth spelling in there. So probably not so healthy. Kathleen has a question here. Kathy's got, can you move the at GEG Nagoya? Oh my goodness, sorry, I didn't catch that. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, so because you couldn't see that, right? Okay, let me just do that present thing again, because that's probably what you couldn't see. So when you're in present mode, you can use your pointer by clicking on that, and then it'll take you through the slide, or click here on captions. And then, of course, you see that it gives you at the bottom, everything you're saying. So I could say, well, look at this slide, stop. Yeah, sometimes the error, it'll give you, if you say stop or period, it's going to give you the period at the end. In this case, it does not. It does when you're voice typing in Google Docs and in your slides. So keep those conversations going. Oh, all right. So I see English School is asking, why avoid autoplay? I avoid autoplay just because sometimes, your voice can't keep up with the slides, right? So, if you have autoplay, now in class when your presentation might not be formal, you just stop it, not a big deal. But if a student's doing a presentation, I've seen this before, I'm sure we all have, where they've got some background music going, but it's only for a couple of slides, and then they start speeding up and they get flustered. So I tend to avoid autoplay. If you want background music for your whole presentation, then sure, autoplay is fine. Set the volume and then you're good to go in my mind. All right, so we'll continue to answer questions if people have them, but for now, let me just present this because we are going to wind things down. We really appreciate people sticking around there for a whole hour and an hour and 8 minutes, 68 minutes, woohoo. So just a reminder that we are going to now be looking, or next time we're going to look at Google Forms. We'll show you how you can use Google Forms to create a quiz. We'll give you some activity ideas like BioBlitz, scavenger hunts, and things like that using Google Forms. We just did this with our homeroom class this week, where students went on an amazing race. We call it the Amazing Race Nagoya, but only in their home and in their neighborhood, so they weren't walking around contracting coronavirus, but uploading photos and quotes and things like that. So we're going to show you some fun stuff. Some really good challenges as well. Darcy Fleming, history teacher extraordinaire. I think there's one that you'll like in there. If you can't make it, mail me, I'll tell you. Or watch the broadcast after it's recorded. But that's May 13th on Wednesday, episode 5, and we're going to show you a whole pile of stuff on Google Forms. So we are GEG Nagoya at www.gegnagoya.com. We're on Facebook and we're on Twitter. Also, remember, we've got April 17th, 18th, 19th, GEG APAC Connect.
Yes.
Sorry, the slides are not in there, where we're going to have a whole pile of sessions in multi-languages. So spread the word. We're going to put the link in there in just a moment. So, Gary, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we're going to give a little bit of a word for a sayonara for yourself.
Okay, so I hope you can join us on April 17, 18, and 19. I'll be presenting in Tagalog. I'll be joining the other languages, but for the Philippines, I'll be presenting in Tagalog. And we'll see you soon. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and it's always great to have you in here, Gary. We really appreciate it. It's no fun doing the well. I mean, it's fun, but it's not the same doing it on your own, or it's always better with more people. In a future live, folks, we'll teach you how to do this on YouTube. This is a tool called StreamYard. It's completely free. When we found out about it from our really cool friend Aaron Noxon down in Kyoto.
Yes. Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks, Karen or Aaron. That was absolutely brilliant. So anyway. Keep an eye on our website and check us out on Twitter and Facebook. We'll be posting the upcoming things. So the next time GEG Nagoya does anything, it's going to be with all the Google Educator groups in the Asia Pacific region. And, you know, it'll range from the 17th, 18th, and 19th of April, like Gary said. So thanks very much, Gary. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a lovely week.
Bye. Stay safe.